What's up, Believe Nation? I started the Mentor Me series with the goal to hang around people who've done a lot more than us, who've been a lot more successful, and by spending a little more time with them, hopefully some of their mindset, their views, their beliefs seep into us to help us become the best version of ourselves. So today we're going to learn from Sundar Pichai and his road to becoming the CEO of Google. Mentor me, Sundar. And as always, guys, as you're watching the videos, if you see something that really resonates with you, please leave it in the comments below and put quotes around it so other people can be inspired. And if you write it down, it's much more likely to stick with yourself as well.
The thing which attracted me to Google and to internet in general is that it's a great equalizer, right? And so to me, I've always been struck by the fact that Google search worked the same as long as you had access to computer with connectivity, if you were a rural kid anywhere, or if you were a professor at Stanford or Harvard. And to me, I want Google to strive to push to do that, not just build technology for a certain segments, right? For me, it matters that we drive technology as an equalizing force, as an enabler to everyone around the world.
What motivated you to switch fields from first metallurgy to management to computer science? And did you ever feel incompetent or even a bit insecure while working with people who were given more qualified in that field than you were?
My background, so I was always interested in technology, and the first chance I could get to program, I learned programming, and so for me, I never thought of it as switching fields as much as when the internet started happening. It took me a while to realize the power of it, and it became obvious to me for the first time we are going to have something which could connect one day all of humanity and would profoundly transform what people did. So I wanted to be a part of that, so part of that journey. So that's how I thought of it, and so I didn't think of it as necessarily switching careers. I would actually encourage all of you, if at some point in your life, you have to work with people where you feel a bit insecure, right? That's essential, because that means you're working with people who are better than you and who are pushing you, right? And so I've always encouraged, if you actually feel very secure in what you do, that means you're doing something comfortable and you're not pushing yourself. And so there are many times I've felt working with people in a group, am I doing enough? These people seem much better than me, and I think that's an inherent part of learning. I interviewed at Google on April 1st, 2004, which is April Fool's Day. And Google had just announced Gmail, and it was invite only, and so but people weren't exactly sure whether it was an April Fool's joke. And so I remember doing my interviews during the day, and people kept asking me, "What do you think of Gmail?" But I hadn't had a chance to use it. I thought they were, it was an April Fool's joke. So my first 3 interviews, I couldn't answer it well because I didn't use the product. It was only in the 4th interview when someone asked me, "Have you seen Gmail?" I said no, and so he actually showed it to me. And then the 5th interviewer asked, "What do you think of Gmail?" And I was able to start answering it then. So the final 4 interviews, I actually told them about what I think of Gmail and how to improve Gmail. And that's my interview experience like. Somebody in the middle also took me to have ice cream in the middle, which showed me Google was a very, very different place as well. So that was how my interview process went.
But is it true that everyone at that time was interviewed by Larry Page as well?
I was one of the first people, I think. I joined Google when we were over 1,000 people. And Larry, just at that point, was the first time he had stopped interviewing people. Oh. So I still joke around that I got into Google because Larry didn't interview me. So. I did dream of, just like I'm sure like many Indians dreamt of being a cricketer. I used to be a huge...
You did?
Yeah, I used to be a huge fan of, sorry I'm old, but I used to be a huge fan of Gavaskar, when he was playing. And later on Sachin when he played, but, so I always, had a dream.
on a more serious note, I always loved technology growing up, and so I had dreams of just not exactly what I would do, but I wanted to, at that time, I used to read about what was happening in Silicon Valley, and I wanted to go be a part of it. So I didn't exactly dream a career as much as a destination.
You're sitting in IIT Kharagpur in a room that wasn't quite as fancy as this hall is, and there is no Google. So how are you keeping in touch with what Silicon Valley is doing, and how are you dreaming? And
wow, I have to think about that for a minute. There was no internet too, and it was pre all that. Mostly reading, and my uncle had gone to the States, and I was interested in semiconductors and so on. And William Shockley, the person who kind of invented semiconductors, was from Silicon Valley. So I'd read a story about him staying, working through at Stanford close to Christmas Eve, and so stuff like that. So, for what I was interested in, I knew that's where it was happening.
But what is Sundar Pichai like as a leader?
I think...
What is your leadership style?
When you're trying to run something at the scale of Google, we have now over 60,000 people, and you rely on other strong leaders. I think a lot of what I do is, I have an outstanding leadership team. It's learning to let go and really empowering people, at all levels of the organization, and trusting them to doing the right thing. And as a leader, a lot of your job is to make those people successful. It's less about trying to be successful and more about making sure you have good people, and your work is to remove barriers, remove roadblocks for them, so that they can be successful in what they do. And so that's how I've always thought about it. I've also valued teamwork quite a bit. And I think it's really important to build organizations where people actually want to work together. Yeah. Everything comes out of that. So setting up collaborative cultures is another big thing I try to focus on.
So it's not about one person, it's about the team.
That's right. Yeah.
And if your team succeeds, you also succeed with them.
Absolutely. I would really encourage people to, I think there's a lot of pressure in today's system. I get surprised people start preparing for IIT in their 8th grades, and that's a bit shocking to me. I hope as people are approaching things, they are really taking the time to doing things in a deeper way. Understanding things deeper, learning by doing things, and I think it's important to remember it's a long road. Setbacks actually don't matter. I think a lot of times when I was younger, people would say, this person didn't get into this college or something, and that's the end of the road. I mean, life is so different from that. And so I think it's important to, keep your hopes, keep your dreams, and try to follow them. And, I think most of how life plays out is up to you, not up to what happens outside of you. And I think it's important to keep that in mind and take the long-term view.
If you want another amazing video highlighting excellence in the Indian community, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.